Hello everybody. Welcome to our new series, Let's Read. Except for I'm not really going to be reading. I'm just going to tell you the story of the first chapter I've read in a book, this new book. And every chapter I read, I'm going to tell you that little part of the story in that chapter. I'll make a video each. I'm just going to continue to do this and read the book because I'm not going to be able to wait. And I may not put these up every day. It may be just whenever. And I'll just accumulate the videos, make them and save them, and then put them up as I want to. Okay. This is going to be so fun. I can't wait. I'm excited. Hopefully I can do this good and right. Let me see if I can get my camera set right. Okay. So, alright, this story is about this young couple. Okay, the lady's name is Daisy and the man's name is Jake. And they've just got married. They've been married for about 6 months now. But she's been married before. Now, so far it has not mentioned that Jake was married before, but he does have a kid. Or kids, I'm assuming, because it says they emerged their families. They got married and emerged their families together. Or merged their, not emerged, merged their families together. However you say the word. So, that, to me, that would mean, you know, he was once married and had kids. So, but she was married before, and it didn't work out. She talked about how she made a mistake choosing the wrong husband and the wrong house with that wrong husband. So she divorced the husband and she divorced the house. And it was a modern house that she had had with her first husband. And so she wanted an old house that had character. So, okay, and she's got kids, but at this point in the first chapter, it don't talk about how many kids, you know, whether it's boy or girl, and what their ages are or anything like that. Just, she's got kids. You know, merge the family together. It's got to be kids, right? Okay, so she's looking for her old house with character that she wants. And in the process of looking for the old house, she runs into her old high school boyfriend, Jake. It's 20 years later, you know. But they pick right back up where they left off, okay? And, you know, he's got kids. So they end up falling in love, and they get married and merge their families together. So she's continuing to look for her old house. And so they find one, they're looking at one, and they're with the realtor there. And they're looking at it, and they're outside looking at it. Or that's how I pictured it. You know how when you're reading a book, you picture the stuff that you're reading. And the way it said that Jake was looking at the house with the realtor. I pictured it that they were outside looking up at the whole big outside of the house, you know. They could have been inside. Now that I think about it, the way it was worded, it didn't specify. But I pictured it, you know, that they were outside looking up at the house. So, and, you know, Daisy's there, and Jake says, Daisy, this house may have too much character. I liked that. I thought that was funny. So, but she loves it. She fell in love with it, and he knew it, and so he got it for her. So they move in the house, you know, and they're setting up home, and they're trying to fix everything up, you know, kind of fix and maybe repair some things and stuff like that. Okay, so then they get a frozen pipe. And this frozen pipe has been frozen for a couple of hours. They're trying to find it, locate it, and get to it. So they're in the basement, all right? And then there's this crawl space in the basement. That's what they're calling it. And so Jake is trying to crawl up in there, and the crawl space is, now let me see, because so the crawl space is 3 by 3.5. That's the size of it. And I'm assuming that means it can't be inches. It's got to be feet, right? I'm not good with measurements like that, but I think that's feet. 3 by 3.5 is how big the crawl space is. And he's trying to get up in there. And he is a big 6 foot, 200 pound guy. So it's kind of tight, a tight area, and he can't hardly move up in there and everything. And he's got a flashlight, to see. No. She's got the flashlight. He's up in the crawl space, she's down, and she's got the flashlight trying to hold it up in there for him to see. Because he even calls down to her, move the light, such and such, whatever. Okay, so he's also got a hairdryer. He's trying to get to the frozen pipe, and he wants to use the hairdryer on the frozen pipe to thaw it out. I thought it was funny. I don't know if that's a good way to thaw a frozen pipe out or not, and it didn't say in the first chapter. So, Daisy is, down out of the crawl space. The way it talked about it, the crawl space is up. And so she's down on the basement floor and he's up higher into the crawl space. And it didn't, it's just saying crawl space. So it's not, why is there a crawl space? What is it exactly? Where is it? Is it behind a staircase? Why is it up higher than the floor? How is it up higher than the floor? It don't explain all that. So, she's down there and she's fussing at him when he says, I think he said something, I can't remember every little detail now, but I think he said something or another about how it's tight and he can't hardly move, and she said something like, that's why I need to be up there, I'm half your size, and she's kind of fussing at him and trying to get him to come down and let her get up there. Alright, so let me see. I feel like I'm going too fast here and leaving something out that I wanted to say. Give me a minute and let me think. Because I don't want to leave anything out, because this is fun, to me. I love telling about the books that I read. Me and my Aunt Bill used to do this all the time. Aunt Bill, if you see this, you're going to love this, and you're going to hope that you can get all these videos about this book, because you're just going to get into it. But we used to, back in the day when I was a teenager, and she was a lot younger and everything, me and her both liked to read mystery books, and we would each read a book, and then we'd call each other up and start telling each other about our book that we was reading. It was so fun. Alright, so, I hope I'm not leaving anything out, but as of right now, if I think about it later, I'll let y'all know about it later, what I left out. It's just hard for me these days to remember everything. Okay, so eventually, because he can't seem to get in there to the pipe because it's such a tight fit and he's a big man and everything, she finally talks him into coming out and letting her go up. So he comes out and he's got the flashlight, she's got the hairdryer. And he tells her she tells him to give her a boost up into the crawl space. So he does. So she's getting up in there and she's crawling up in there, and the frozen pipe is on the back wall. So she's crawling and trying to get to the back wall. But she had laid the hairdryer down on the floor of the crawl space. when she first got up in there, there was a lot of cobwebs and dirt and dust, and it was all kind of like getting into her face, and so she has to keep wiping her face and her eyes out to be able to even see good and see things. So she's trying to crawl up in there to the back wall to the frozen pipe. And when she first got up in there, she had to lay the dryer down on the floor to use her hands to help lift up and get up in there. So she's looking back and reaching down and trying to get the dryer in her hand again. So when she does, she sees something else. And she calls down to her husband and she says, "Did you see this?" And he says, "See what?" And she says, "This door." And he says, "No, I was looking for the frozen pipe." He's getting aggravated with her, you know. So it's kind of funny in a way, too, along the way. So now she is all enamored with the door. And she wants to know where it goes to and what it is. And she keeps telling him and talking to him and asking him, "Did you know this door was up here? Where does it go?" And so he says, "I don't know, maybe somewhere under the crawl space." And then she thinks, you know, it talks about how she never even thought about the crawl space having something under it. She just thought of it as just there, elevated, you know. And then she had also been thinking their house inspector had mentioned floods and how they might want to keep valuables up higher, and so she was thinking of that. That would be like an extra bonus shelf to put her stuff up there so that if it flooded it wouldn't get ruined and stuff like that. And she never did think about it like having a space under it. So now she's thinking, you know, and there's this door, and so then she starts thinking, and this is exactly me. This is what I would think if I found something like this. Of course, I'm not going to be crawling up in no crawl space in a basement or an attic or anything. Anyway, I'd send Albert up, "Go look for secret doors, and if you find anything, bring it down here and let me search through it." But anyway, so, you know, she's thinking about the door, and she's thinking tunnels and secret treasures and mementos, you know, and all this kind of stuff. Oh, see, I knew there was something I was leaving out. This old house that they have found and bought, it's 150 years old. And this crawl space looks like that it has never been entered for the whole 150 years. And the house is, it's, let's see, what did they say? The doors don't shut good. She fell in love with like the hardwood floors and stuff. It's kind of, the house is kind of dilapidated. The doors don't shut good. There was something else they said about it, and I can't remember what it was. But you know, that's kind of character she liked about the old house and why she wanted it. Oh, and she likes like the memories and stuff, and the house is rumored to have a ghost. Okay. So, so now, that was what I was supposed to tell y'all before when they first bought the house. That was the part, you know, I kept saying I feel like I'm leaving something out and going too fast. So, that's what that was. Okay, so she's in the crawl space, and she's found this door, and so she's thinking, you know, tunnels, secret tunnels, and treasure, and all this kind of stuff. So she wants to, and she keeps talking to her husband about it, and she wants to get it open, and she's found a round hole in the door. She says, it says that the door is about 3 by 3. And so she's found the hole, so she tries to lift it up, but it's too heavy and she can't. So she calls down to her husband, "Do you have a screwdriver?" And he says right away, he says, "No." And she says, "Liar, there's one laying right there on the table." So he sighs. You know, he's just all about, he wants her to get the hairdryer on the frozen pipe and get it thawed out. And he sighs, and he gets the screwdriver and hands it up to her. And, you know, he's kind of getting aggravated with her, but he tells her to hurry up. And then one time she calls down for a flashlight. She didn't quite have the flashlight. He was holding it. And so he's really getting aggravated. He says, "You have 1 minute, Daisy, and then I want that hairdryer on that frozen pipe before this house fills up with water and something other about, there was a certain way he said it. I can't remember if he said drowns our bank account or floats away our bank account or something like that, you know. So he's all about that. So anyway, and then she fusses back at him, oh, it'll be all right. This pipe's been frozen for a couple of hours. A few more minutes ain't gonna hurt nothing, you know. So she takes the screwdriver and sticks it in the hole and lifts the lid up. She gets it up. So she's got the flashlight and she's shining in there. And it's talking about how the hole is 12 foot deep and it's all metal around it, so it looks like an old coal chute. So she's disappointed because she sees no secret tunnel, she sees no treasure, you know, and all this kind of stuff. So she's still looking real good with the flashlight, and Jake calls up, Daisy, what do you see? And so she, you know, she's shining and looking, and then she says, she kind of stops, and it even talks about her hand trembling, you know, and then she says, I see a pair of shoes. And he says, shoes? And then she says, and they have somebody in them. And that was the end of the chapter. That's how that chapter ended. So there you go. There's your first chapter of this book. From what I have told you so far about just the first chapter of the book, I would like for y'all to try to guess what y'all think the name of the book is. Okay? And tell it in the comments below. This is fun. I love this. Now I can't wait. I'm going to go on and read the second chapter and probably make a video of it, but I'm only going to be putting this one up today. And the other one will wait. You know, at first I may be so enthused with this and having so much fun that I may put one up every day, you know. So the second one may go up tomorrow, or I may wait a couple of days. I may do it once a week, or it may end up being that after a while, you know. I don't know. So anyway, try to guess the name of the book. After a little while, once we're more into the book and after y'all tried to guess, I will tell y'all the name and even show y'all. Because even on my phone, it shows the picture of what the front of the book looks like. And it's pretty cool. I like it. And I want to show it to y'all. So we'll do that. So y'all let me know how y'all like the first chapter. What you like about it, what you don't like about it. And then let me know if you're looking forward to the second chapter. Alright? Okay, this is fun. I love it. I'm having fun. I can't wait to read some more and do the next video. Okay, I'm out of here until next time. I'm done. I'm gone. Toodaloo.